When most people think about access control, they think about passwords, maybe multi-factor authentication or OTP, maybe a login screen. But access control is not only about logging in, it is about controlling risk. And if there is one domain where most modern breaches actually begin, it's identity, compromised credentials, overprivileged users, uncontrolled access. And now, with AI systems, automation, APIs, and autonomous agents becoming part of our daily operations, many organizations are managing identities that are no longer even human. So in this video, we are going to break down what access control actually means, why organizations still struggle with it, and why traditional access models are starting to break in this world of AI. Hi, I am Priyanka Chatterjee, your soon-to-be favorite cyber nomad. I've spent over 2 decades building and solving cybersecurity challenges around the world. Here at London School of Cybersecurity, I break down how cybersecurity actually works in the real world and share practical lessons to help you build real-world cyber skills. So let's get into it. So what does access control really mean? Most people simplify access control into one thing: can the user log in? But the real access control is much bigger than that. And at its core, access control is about answering 3 key questions. Who are you? What are you allowed to access? And what did you do? Now, these 3 concepts form the foundation of access control: authentication, authorization, and accounting. Or, like our batteries, AAA. Remember AAA. Authentication answers the question, who or what are you? This is where things like passwords, MFA, biometrics, certificates, etc. come into play. The goal here is to verify identity. Remember, who or what are you? But here is the important point. Authentication alone does not mean security, because just because someone successfully logs in does not mean they should have broad access. And authorization answers just that. What are you allowed to do? Can you read the file, modify the system, approve a transaction, or make changes in a production system? And this is where permissions, roles, and policies matter. And honestly, this is where many organizations fail. Not because authentication is weak, but because authorization becomes uncontrolled over time. The third concept is accounting, also known as auditing. Now, this answers what actually happened, who accessed what, when, and from where. What actions did they perform? Because if you cannot trace actions, you lose accountability. And without accountability, guess what? Investigations become extremely difficult. If you miss one of these 3, AAA, you don't have access control. You have access chaos. Now let's talk about why access control fails in the real world. And this is important because most organizations already have the tools. They already have MFA, they already have policies, and yet access-related incidents continue to happen. Well, because the challenge is rarely the login screen. The real challenge is managing authorization continuously over time. One of the biggest problems is overprivileged access. People accumulate permissions over years. They change departments, move projects, get temporary access, and nobody removes it. So eventually, users end up with access they no longer need. And attackers? Oh, they just love it. Because once one account is compromised, they inherit everything attached to it. Isn't that wonderful? And this exactly becomes even more dangerous when privileged accounts are involved. Admin accounts, root credentials, service accounts, privileged sessions, super users. Just imagine how happy the attacker would be, because these are some of the highest value targets for attackers. Which is why organizations increasingly depend on privileged access management, or PAM solutions, to control, monitor, and limit elevated access. And in many organizations, some of the riskiest identities are the ones nobody remembers they exist. Old service accounts, Think legacy integrations, authorization grants, orphaned accounts that remain active long after their original purpose or the person disappears. Now, these identities often operate quietly in the background until an attacker discovers them. The second major problem is lifecycle management. Now, access control is not just a one-time event, it is a life cycle. Someone joins the company, they change roles, they move teams, and they leave the organization. And at every stage, access should evolve. But in many organizations, that process is fragmented or manual, which creates risk. An employee joins the company, they get access to systems. Later, they move into another role, but nobody removes the old permissions, they just keep adding. Then eventually they leave the organization and some of that access still remains active. And that is bingo for attackers. And because that becomes your hidden or shadow attack surface, things that are just not visible. Now, let's address something quite famous and important. MFA or multi-factor authentication. MFA is good, but it's not a complete access strategy. Attackers now use MFA fatigue attacks, token theft, phishing proxies. They hijack sessions, they stuff credentials, and a lot more. So organizations that think that we deployed MFA, so we are secure, are oversimplifying the problem. We have already seen real-world examples of this. Think about the Uber breach, where attackers repeatedly triggered MFA prompts until the user eventually accepted one. You see, the problem here was not the absence of MFA. It was how the identity trust was being managed operationally. And modern organizations also rely heavily on single sign-on and identity federation, including using technologies like SAML, you might have heard about it, which improves usability and convenience, but it also centralizes the risk. Because if the identity provider itself is compromised, attackers may inherit access across multiple systems simultaneously. And most organizations don't have weak authentication, they have uncontrolled authorization, things no one remembers. And that problem becomes even more complicated in the AI era. So that's the problem. But what does good look like? So let's simplify what should a good access management process looks like. Access should follow a life cycle, just like a user. First, the user requests access, then someone approves it, then the access is provisioned and the user can use it. Then comes the tricky part. It should be reviewed regularly. 6 months, a year, please build a calendar. And because eventually when no one needs it anymore, it should be revoked. Because most security failures don't happen at the time of login, it happens everything around it. And historically, access control was designed around humans, employees, contractors, administrators. But we have got AI now, and it is fundamentally changing the model because identities are no longer just human. Today, organizations rely heavily on AI agents, APIs, automation, cloud workloads, service accounts, bots, machine-to-machine communication. Machines are taking over our lives, and these are called non-human identities or NHIs. And in many organizations today, non-human identities already outnumber human identities. Let's let that sink in. We have more machine access than humans. And now think about the implications of that. These systems operate autonomously, run continuously, interact with multiple systems, access sensitive data, make decisions at machine speed. And that's great, but many organizations still manage them using traditional access models. Access control that was designed for humans. But AI is introducing identities that never sleep, they never stop, and they keep acting autonomously. So let's talk about why this becomes risky. Before automation and AI, most access kind of look like this. You've got human, they log in and they gain access. Simple. But now it increasingly looks like this. We've got a user who has an AI agent, goes to an API application which accesses a database and chances are using service accounts. Now ask yourself this question. Who actually accessed the data? Was it the user or the AI system? The API or the service account? And who is accountable if something goes wrong? And this is where traditional identity models start breaking down. For years, organizations relied heavily on RBAC, which is role-based access control. That's my role, that's my access. And RBAC works really well in predictable environments, but AI introduces dynamic workflows, temporary actions, autonomous decisions, and cross-system interactions, which means static role models become harder to manage, really hard. Which is why many organizations are now evolving beyond traditional RBAC towards models like attribute-based access control and policy-based access control, because modern environments require decisions based not just on role, but context, behavior, risk, and intent. We are also seeing a rapid rise of just-in-time access. Instead of permanent permissions, users or systems receive temporary access only when required. This reduces standing privilege and significantly limits attack exposure. This also aligns closely with zero trust, where trust is never assumed, always verified. Verification becomes continuous, not just at login, but after that too. Zero trust fundamentally shifts the model from trust because you're inside the network to continuously verify identity, device, and context before granting access. The future of access control is not identity alone. It's identity plus context plus intent. Remember, ICI. And this is why access control connects to every other control domain. Identity affects endpoints, networks, applications, data, detection, and response. Everything inside cybersecurity. And if identity becomes compromised, every other layer becomes weaker. So when we talk about access control, we are not just talking about passwords. We are talking about controlling trust inside an increasingly autonomous environment. And organizations that continue treating access control as a login problem, well, they will struggle to secure AI-driven systems, because in the AI era, identity is no longer just human. So let me ask you, what do you think is the biggest access control challenge that organizations are facing today? Is it overprivileged users? Or is it non-human identities? Is it AI agents or weak governance or not having the right people and processes? Drop your thoughts in the comment. And in the next video, we will move to the next control domain, network security. See you on the other side.